I talk a lot about core values, but I really haven't told you how to set your core values, how to identify and agree on your core values. And again, this discussion is going to be quite superficial for a 3-minute thought of the day. I'm actually creating a course on ethical decision making where I'm going to describe one of the sections is how you set the core value agenda, whether it's for you, your family, your team, your company, your business, whatever the right level of core values are that you're addressing. And you probably should have, and I think you should have, for each of those. If you have a company or a business, make sure you have a set of core values that everyone knows and is agreeing to and conducts themselves by executing against those core values. If you have a team, same thing, your family and yourself. So how do you set core values? Well, actually, there's a lot of material on the internet about this, and there's a lot of different ways to do it. I've done it a certain way with numerous groups of people that I've walked through a core values exercise. Be happy to help you set your own, whether it's for you, your family, a team, company, whatever. Just let me know. So here's what you do, right? You first, if it's just for you, it's just going to be you, and you're going to just have a session where you're sitting down and reflecting on what's important to you, what the principles are that are important to you. And you can use all these examples from the web, but typically it's going to be things like how you feel about integrity and how you feel about honesty and accountability, and how important are those things to you. So basically you're just going to sit down and write out one word that describes a particular value that you hold dear. So for example, if family and being family oriented is a value you hold dear, you're going to write that down. And if being ecologically friendly and focused and wanting to make sure that you pay attention to the environment and take care of it, you're going to write it down. Ecology or environment, however you want to phrase it. Now, so you're going to just go to town on this list. And by the way, if you're doing this for your family, you're going to gather your family around you and you're going to do it together. And you're going to go around the table. You're going to sit at a table. You're going to have a flip chart or a whiteboard. And you're basically going to go around the table and everybody's just going to yell out a phrase of what they feel is an important core value. No judgment. You just listen to it. If you're doing this by yourself, no judgment. Just blurt it out, write it down. If you're doing it with your family, same thing. With the team, you're going to sit down with the whole team. With a company or a business, obviously you're not going to sit down with the entire company or a business unless your company or business is just a handful of people, like 5 or 6 or 8 people. If it's a big business, then you're going to ask for some volunteers. You're going to go through a process where you identify the people that are going to be representative of the entire company or business, and they're going to help you draft the core value agenda. So basically, you do this red light, green light session. Green light means you're going around the table and everybody just blurting out one word, you're writing it down. So maybe it's things like health. Health is important to you. Fun, having fun. Again, just write them down. Once you have reached the point where you've got a lot of stuff on that whiteboard or that flip chart, you're going to basically stop. That's red light. And now people get a chance to ask for clarification on some things. No judgment. No judgment on any of those words you wrote down that people volunteered. Just clarification. Just what did you mean by, thoroughness? What did you mean? What I meant by thoroughness was that I think everything we do ought to be thorough and complete, and we ought to, finish it, and we ought to get to being done, so you kind of clarify. All right, so now once you've got all the words up there and you've clarified them, maybe you've consolidated some, honesty and truth. Maybe are consolidated into one honesty or one truth. Integrity, accountability and responsibility. Somebody says responsibility, Somebody else said accountability, and you all feel as a group that that's the same thing, you combine them. Anyway, at the end of that exercise, now you have the entire list that's been defined and clarified and consolidated if there are some that are, truly belong together. So now, depending upon how many of you there are and how many terms you've put up there, you go through an exercise where you rank and prioritize. This is easier than it sounds. Go to the stationery store, go on Amazon and buy yourself some colored dots, sticky colored dots. And so let's say you have 30 or 30 terms up there. You're going to give people, let's say, 20 dots. So you're going to give one person green dots, another person red dots, another person blue dots, etc. Just kind of mix them up. And then they're going to go up there and they're going to put all those dots on those terms. And they can put one dot per term, or they can put multiple dots on one term if they feel strongly about it. Heck, they can take all 30 dots if you have 40 terms up there and put all 30 on one thing. That's perfectly acceptable, although that's probably going to skew the results. But, you just play that by ear. So at the end of that exercise, you count the number of dots by each term, and the top 6 to 8 are going to be the core values that are important to the group. If you're doing it just for yourself, it's just the core values that are important to you. If you're doing it for your family, it's the ones that rose to the top 6, 7, 8. I wouldn't pick more than 8. I've seen people have a list of core values that are 10. But, these are things that are truly important, life-changing, things that are really critical to you as a human being, to your group as a set of human beings trying to do good in this world and trying to do the right thing. That becomes your core values. And then from there you go to communicating them, making sure that everybody's aware of them, making sure that everybody understands that violations of core values are a really serious thing. I mean, if it's a company and you have a violation of a core value, you're going to consider terminating the person. You're going to probably have to terminate them, because if it's important enough to be a core value that was agreed upon, it's important enough to not tolerate a violation of it. If it's a family, it's kind of tough to fire a family member, but there's got to be some repercussions for core value violations. And then when you make decisions, you always refer back to those core values. The decisions, if you're a company or a team bringing a new person on board, do they support the core value agenda that you set? The hiring process, the onboarding process. If you're a company, the customer service process. When you're designing the process, you got to make sure that the process supports the core values that you've decided. So whatever it is, whatever business process, family process, individual process you go through, making decisions, deciding to make a purchase, changing a customer service process, fulfilling a customer's request, shipping, logistics, packaging, whatever it is, that it adheres to the core values. So the core values are used every single day in making decisions and in executing. That's what they're for. They're not up there to just put up on the shelf and forget about it, or make laminated cards and carry around in your pocket. No, they're actually for use every single day in the processes that you execute and the decisions that you make. And some decisions, simple decisions. What am I going to have for breakfast? Well, you might want to think about health. Hey, health was one of my core values, so I want to make sure that I eat healthy. And so that helps you make decisions like that. So that's the core value agenda setting process. That's how you establish them. You make sure that they're communicated widely. You make sure that everybody understands there's no tolerance for making, or violating a core value. And you use it for every kind of process and every kind of decision that you're faced with on a day-to-day basis. That's the core value agenda. That's the thought of the day. I hope that you get some value out of it. Let me know what you think. Stay safe, and peace and love to you and yours always.